Y'all? It's your boy Melly, and this is my officially first video. It's my first video, man. I'm excited. But welcome back, y'all. First thing I'm gonna need y'all to do is subscribe. I'm gonna keep these videos coming, but the first thing I need y'all to do is subscribe. Love y'all. Before we start, now I got a very special treat for y'all, man. A very special treat for y'all today. We got a video from the boy patrickcc. You know what I'm saying? He do these deep dive. He do a great job at them. I've been watching his videos for a while, so I was like, hey, why not react? So I ain't gonna waste no more of y'all time. We're gonna get straight into the reaction. We're gonna start watching the video.
Parents of troubled youth pay for their children to tour the inside of a prison or county jail so they can be exposed to the dark reality of life behind bars. When they arrive, they meet with real inmates who strike fear into them with threats, with the goal being to prevent today's teenagers.
I ain't tell y'all what's about, but y'all see it in the title. Obviously, Beyond Scared Straight. This is something I used to watch when I come home from school, like as a kid. And I was like, dang, I know I had some bad kids in school, the kids that was always fighting, getting suspended and stuff like that. But, you know, we ain't had no Scared Straight program. But I always thought, what if these kids went to that? Would they really change? And what happened to these kids? Because the title's saying they failed them. And I know a lot of the kids that went along with it, they didn't really get no, like some of them they took to the scare or whatever you want to call it. And then some kids, they, you know what I'm saying, it was good for a week and then they went back to their old ways, which, you know, usually see a lot of when it's situations like these. But all right, man, let's get back into it. Y'all know it's Scared Straight. So let's see what my boy Pat got to say.
From becoming tomorrow's prisoners, but their exposure therapy techniques are definitely questionable.
What the wrong with you, dog? Chill out. You were starting in the
That's kind of
wrong
loud.
way. This Kool-Aid, you put this on just like you. Lick your lips. Now stick your hand in that Kool-Aid.
Hey, this was
Just stick it in
OD.
there.
This
Now
was
take your finger,
OD.
just do this to the bottom one. Come here. I kiss you, you orange flavor mother.
What did your son do that bad for you to let him get violated? This is what he probably really doing to people. This is what he really doing to people when they cutting them cameras off. He putting sugar on their lips, boy, making the boy sweet. Man, what? I don't know. We had to send the boy to counselor or something like that. As a parent, I get it. I get it. He acting up, but y'all gotta do y'all. That was the only way. And then the cops allow him to get harassed and violated like that. I get they supposed to scare him, but that was almost like indirect physical contact. Let's keep going.
That's the you ready? You hard, man. You hard. You want to do? Try me. Try me. Yeah, try me. I want you to try me. I want you to try me. Try.
You see how
No
he
doubt
pick
the
him
show is
up?
entertaining and has given us some pretty hilarious moments over the years.
I
However,
remember that.
our entertainment
But he
is at
just
the
lifted that
expense
man
of the
down there to the
children's
second
suffering.
floor.
And the craziest part is, it has been proven on multiple occasions that Scared Straight doesn't work. In fact, it might actually increase their chances of becoming lifelong.
What I just say, bro? Get him some counseling, change up the parenting tactic, get him a role model, big brother or something, man. Because I think this just gonna. All right, I ain't gonna go to jail. Probably just be a better criminal at the end of the day. But like it say right here, this is not an effective crime prevention strategy.
Criminals. A lot of people don't realize that Scared Straight is not just a television show on A&E. It's a program that has been implemented all over the United States for the past 50 years. And the reason it got so popular was based on just one alleged successful experiment. Scared Straight was the name of a television documentary released in 1978, produced by Arnold Shapiro. It was critically acclaimed, won an Academy Award, and even won an Emmy.
See, they're gonna put lipstick on your lips, earrings in your ear, and have you swishing your ass up and down these tears, hustling cigarettes for your man.
What did he say? Your man. Your man, sir.
What did I say? What did I say, mother? You're here for 2 hours. You belong to us for 2 hours.
The film documented youth offenders who visited Rahway State Prison in
Nah,
New Jersey. They met with
nah.
inmates with the goal of being so scared of going to prison that they went on to live a straight or crime-free life. The documentary claimed that 80 to 90% of the 8,000 children who visited Rahway's program would go on to remain law-abiding citizens afterwards. The popularity and surprisingly
Cap.
positive results led to more than 30 states rapidly implementing the program. No further questions were asked. Jails and prisons all over the country saw one documentary and thought they had a solution to all of their youth offender problems. The program's validity was immediately questioned by juvenile delinquency professionals, but that didn't stop it from becoming popular. The original documentary was followed by Scared Straight, Another Story in 1980, also produced by Arnold Shapiro. This one was just a dramatic film. The subjects were actors who did scripted reenactments of their petty crimes, which led them to entering the Scared Straight program, being screamed at, and then feeling. Then in 1987, Scared Straight 10 years later aired.
I'll be your host for Scared Straight 10 years later. A fascinating update on what's happened to the kids and the convicts filmed a decade ago.
What I steal, I need, and I want.
It's embarrassing. 10 years ago, yeah, I did that. I did that to look.
Take care of your skin, my guy. It's not even that hard. Oh my God.
Nah, ain't that up out of here.
No. If you're
Wash your face.
Now the difference is I want to look good, but I like to pay for what I take.
We got to see the original 1978 crew, and they all explained how much the program changed their life for the better. The second half of the documentary.
So if it's 10 years ago and there was like 16, like for petty crimes or whatever, don't they got classes for that or something like theft prevention or the repercussions and consequences of stealing? Like, I don't really get it, man. Like, they was 16. Like they should grow up after 10 years. You was a child. You was a minor, man. Everybody did stupid stuff. I did stupid stuff. I steal candy out the store whenever I could get a chance because I ain't have no bread. Of course, when it's 10 years later, you probably could afford most of the people. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got their little situation. But most people, once they get a little bread in their pocket, they buy whatever they want anyways or find some way to get something close to it. So I would hope after 10 years that they ain't doing the same little petty stuff they do. People grow up. Some people don't.
Introduced a new group of troubled teenagers. After their trip to Rahway State Prison, the documentary claimed that all 17 of the youth offenders were crime-free just 3 months after their visit. Then
3 months is
TV
crazy.
Connected with Shapiro for another sequel, Scared Straight 99. This documentary was potentially the most raw and shocking of them all. The prisoners were threatening these kids to levels we had never seen before. One inmate made a kid hold his pocket as he walked around the cell.
Bro, this is assault. This is assault.
This was highly regarded as one of the best out of the series, and people still genuinely believe this was an effective form of therapy for youth offenders, which makes sense when you consider the societal standard during this time period.
Hey, the
Mental
setting,
health
the
issues
setting,
that
the
are
scene,
widely
the scene
known
looked
to-
like the Boondocks episode that they did is Scared Straight. I don't know if you gonna cover it in there, but the setting and the way it's set up is how it looked. How it looked on Boondocks when they got stuck in the prison.
Had not been vigorously studied. Mental health as a whole wasn't taken as seriously as it is now. Plus, it was a lot more common for parents to use tough love and physical punishment to discipline their children. These programs were seen as an extremely cheap and convenient solution to a very complex problem that is juvenile delinquency. But where Scared Straight received renowned media attention was when they released their 20 years later special. They claimed that of the 17 original 1978 children, only one of them became a career criminal. The 95% success rate shocked news publications. Scared Straight was a miracle solution. They used 17 people's stories for 20 years to justify this entire program around the United States. But the popular A&E series you all know and love didn't come until 2011 and was produced by the same man, Arnold Shapiro.
But that boy Arnold was getting that bag. What you got to say, Batman? Come on.
Scared Straight was a TV show that documented the experiences of troubled.
I remember this episode. They had him in there doing jumping jack.
Of a maximum security prison or jail. During the tours, inmates and officers would go to the greatest lengths, screaming, locking them in cells, putting lipstick on them, roughing them up, anything they could do to shock the children and make them terrified of going to prison in hopes that it would steer them clear of a life of crime.
What's up? You like to fight, homie? That's what you like to do, huh? Little bitch. You's a bitch, homie. You's a Pop-Tart. I see right through you, homie. You better not stop. You better. I'm hard, man. You hard. You want to You want to try me?
Bro, I thought you couldn't put your hands on him. I thought you could put your hands on him, man. Nah.
You smirk at me. He says he don't know. You can't speak up, can you? Are you smirking at me?
Thank you hold this. You drop it, I'll smack out of you. I don't give a about going.
This was the most staggering and horrific Scared Straight program.
Man, these boys was getting introduced to being some prison husbands. Do that count? Do that count as some type of like SA? Like, do that count towards like anything? Cause that's pretty close. It's pretty close, man, with the candy and the whole thing, man. I don't know.
Program we had ever seen, and people loved it. The show's premiere alone attracted a staggering 3.7 million viewers.
I was one of them
making it the
3.7.
most watched original series debut in the network's history. The undeniable success of Beyond Scared Straight led them to producing 83 episodes across 9 seasons, spanning from 2011 until 2015. But the most eye-opening realization about this show is that the Scared Straight program was proven by the federal government not to work. Since the release of the original film, many justice...
He done already got his bag. Now Arnold already done ran up a bag. Hall of Fame capper. Hall of Fame capper, Arnold. You did your thing, my boy. You ain't my boy, but you did your thing. But you was capping. And whoever helped you, they was capping as well for that bag.
Institutions and criminal prevention professionals have thoroughly studied the effects of the program to determine if it actually works. Surprisingly, numerous studies have shown that the Scared Straight method can actually do more harm than good. The most significant study was conducted by the U.S. Department of Justice after the release of the original film. They examined the outcomes of 9 controlled trials conducted from 1967 to 1992. This involved over 900 children, with the average age of 15 to 17, who participated in Scared Straight-like programs in 8 different states. Also, each study was conducted by a different research team. Every one of these studies also had a control group that did not attend a Scared Straight program. So they were comparing youth offenders who went to Scared Straight versus youth offenders who didn't attend one, and measured their likeliness to become a reoffender. The study found no evidence to support the effectiveness of Scared Straight
Don't
in
believe
similar
the hype.
programs. In fact, all analysis showed that involvement in these programs increased measures of crime and delinquency.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, if I'm a bad kid, I ain't saying I was like no bully, no crazy, no super crazy kid. But if I went to something like that, in my mind, I'm gonna put myself in their shoes. I'm gonna be like, well, I'm just not gonna do what they did. They just telling me everything they did, and I'm just not gonna do that. Or I'm gonna try and be better at it, or try and be a better criminal, delinquent, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just find ways to get around it, bro. That's it. Simple.
In nearly every one of the 9 studies, the group who went to Scared Straight had a higher rate of reoffense than the group who didn't go.
Exactly.
After this comprehensive study was published, many others were conducted with different test subjects, different age groups, and different crimes. Many of the studies would produce very similar results. In 1997, University of Maryland researchers completed a report for Congress on the evidence for various crime prevention strategies. The researchers had no problem listing Scared Straight as one of the programs that doesn't work. To make things worse, these programs...
The
In
ads.
2002, which was 9 years before the first A&E episode aired, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention in Washington informed all states that Scared Straight programs or similar programs may violate the separation requirement of the JJDP Act. According to the Act, it is mandatory that juvenile offenders and non-offenders should not be detained or confined in any institution where they may have sight or sound contact with adult offenders. In short, it's illegal to have kids in jail with adults, which makes this clip even harder to watch.
A terrified 9-year-old boy dangled like a raw piece of meat.
Whoa!
His crime, stealing pocket change from his mom, and lying.
I think we can all
Bro, he lied and stole some quarters for a bag of Cheetos or something, man, some candy or something. They held this man up to the window like he was like he was raising hell. Like this man was out here El Chapo or something. Like he was a mini Franklin State or something. They got this boy airborne by his hindquarters. Stop it, man. They couldn't have thought this. They couldn't have thought this was a good idea, bro.
agree that traumatizing a child to this degree for stealing
Exactly.
pocket change is insane. Then filming it, editing it, and putting it out into the world is
That boy
next
is
level.
scarred. He
One
fighting
time
for
they
his
even showed these
life.
children a body and described to them what their parents would experience if they go to jail and die while on the inside. These programs typically break these children down. They start crying, are mortified, and just want to go home. The sad part is their home life is probably rough as well. On the surface, the concept behind these scared straight programs makes sense. Troubled kids are so afraid of prison that they change their ways to avoid such a dark future. However, there are multiple examples that say otherwise. Toby Keith Johnson was first featured on the show on season 3, episode 13.
Man, what's
He
up,
was
Toby?
quiet, tried to break him down and make him feel bad about his choices, but he didn't budge. At the end, when the parents reunite with the children, Toby's mother didn't show up. 8 months later, Toby was featured on the show again. This time, he was an
Dang.
inmate. He was incarcerated for allegations of assaulting his mom. He got out 2 years later on parole, but sadly, continued a life of crime. He was arrested multiple times on random
Nah,
gun
not the
charges.
boy Toby off the F. Not the yada mean. Dang, man. L scared straight program. Dang, man. Y'all did all that. Y'all did all that. I get he takes some form of responsibility for his actions, but come on, man. He wasn't part of the alleged 90% of cap.
But the most recent one was the worst of them all. In August of 2020, he was arrested for imprisoning a 25-year-old woman and making threats of harm, with Johnson forcefully grabbing the victim by the
El
throat, choking
Toby.
her,
El
and
Toby.
violently throwing her to the
El
ground.
Toby.
The aggression continued with it, even going as far as Toby threatening her with a knife.
Man,
Law
it's
enforcement
sick.
would report visible signs of bruising on the victim's neck. I think it's pretty obvious that Scared Straight had no positive effect on Toby whatsoever. Franklin Morris made his premiere on A&E in 2012. At the time of filming, he was living in Baltimore with his mother, Dana. In an emotional episode, Dana revealed the extent of Franklin's school suspensions, stating that she couldn't even begin to give a precise number. Franklin himself shared a nonchalant attitude towards his mother's concern, saying,
"My mother says I'm either going to end up dead or in jail. I really don't pay no mind."
At the young age of 14, Franklin participated in the program.
Like, when something gonna change, though, bro? Like, when something gonna change to the way you approaching this boy? Like, obviously, the threats of him going to jail or dying not affecting him at all. But like, when something gonna change in the style, or like you try and bring somebody else in, or find another. I know you know another male somewhere that could probably talk to the boy, do something, try. Like, that's what I be talking about. That stuff don't do nothing. Like, my mom used to yell at my little brother all the time, and he'd come back to me and see one time and told me, all she gonna do is yell at me, and then it's gonna be over. I'm gonna get everything back. You know what I'm saying? All he had to do was withstand the yelling. You know what I'm saying? And then it's withstand, like, you know what I'm saying, the punishment, whatever she give him. And then at the end of the day, he knew he was always gonna get his stuff back, or you know what I'm saying, be out of trouble. He just had to withstand the punishment. So I feel like this is a lot of their mindset. I don't know if it's his, but I'm just making an assumption. But 14.
Program, already having convictions for gambling and vandalism. One of the incidents that landed Franklin a spot on the show saw Franklin and his friends wreak havoc in a store, knocking items off the shelves and vandalizing a local shop. Years after his time on the show, Franklin Morris became one of 3 teenagers who met a grim fate near a playground in North Baltimore.
Man,
Alongside
rest.
a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old, Franklin was found
Kids,
by the
man.
head and pronounced dead at the scene.
What I thought about going to the jail was it really was no big deal. The reset program, it didn't change me. It really don't.
Kids.
Since the majority of the show's participants were children at the time, it's hard to find the long-term results of their lives. However, based on what I found, it seems like a lot of them went on to live regular lives. If you search what happened to so-and-so from Beyond Scared Straight, most of what you find is clickbait leading you to an Instagram page of someone who we can't confirm was actually on the show. So if the program has been proven to be ineffective through various extensive studies across the past 30 years, why did they do a show about it? Well, that's because the guy who has built his entire career from this program, Arnold Shapiro, is fully convinced that this program is a good thing.
Of course, he think it's a good thing, bro. You see how much he got movies, books, TV shows. Beyond Scared Straight probably syndicated, bro. Of course he gonna back it. Of course he gonna back it. That's the gravy train. That's the golden goose. Come on, like I ain't mad at Patrick, but like of course he himself gonna say it. Like, come on now.
Shapiro says that all the extensive studies are totally irrelevant because they were done from
Yeah, it's irrelevant because you get
1967
that
to
bag.
1999. He also said that only the academic community believes proper counseling for youth offenders works. If society had the money or resources to do that, that would be great if every kid could have years of counseling, but it's not realistic. It would be interesting if A&E used the millions of profits from the show to get these youth offenders
Exactly.
counseling. Since society doesn't have the money,
Film
right?
another.
Shapiro shrugs off the criticism of Scared Straight. There's every variation. It works for some, it doesn't work for some. But you can say that about any program that exists. Shapiro thinks that as long as it works for some, then it justifies the program. And since the program exists, he is happy profiting off of it. He has
Exactly.
openly admitted that the children they decide to be on the show rather the ones with the best personality. It really is based on their personalities and what happens with them. We didn't have any belief that
Their
Brandon,
personality is what got
who
him in
stood
there.
up to the officers and just kind of had a meltdown, would ever change. Even when the tour was over, he got thrown out, but we still picked him because it was so explosive, and we never saw anything like that before or since. Although other kids have stood up to officers, it's amazing. When I went through high school or even college, you never thought you would disrespect a teacher or an authority figure, especially somebody in law enforcement. But these kids have no fear. It's crucial to question whether the pursuit of
They know it's
overshadows
no
moral
real
principles.
threat. Yeah, you're correct. It is the pursuit of profit. And they not seeing no real threat because they know it's a program. They know they're gonna go home at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And then when you go to jail, all they do is learn how to do is become better criminals. Or they're gonna end up right back like the boy beforehand that was doing the whole, drugs, kidnapping, doing this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Then the other boy out on the streets, you know what I'm saying? Rest for bro. But it's the profit right here. This is a perfect example right here.
As corporate interests often prioritize ratings and financial gain over the well-being of
They don't care about them
humans.
kids
It makes
for
it
real.
even worse when you consider that the people they're affecting are not consenting adults. These are children, and it's being broadcasted to millions of people to watch them suffer. They are being told that this is genuine rehabilitation, and they
It's
don't
not.
really have a choice to participate. Occasionally, they rebel so much that they get kicked out of the jail, but most of the time, they are trapped with no escape. The truth.
Like, what you learning from this? What are you learning from this? You in survival mode right now. It don't look like you gonna learn no type of lesson from this. You in straight survival
Truth
mode.
is, everyone wants a quick and cheap solution to an extremely complicated and layered social problem that is juvenile delinquency. But hey, as long as it works sometimes, it's all good.
Facts. Yeah, man. That's it for that video, dog. Shout out to Patrick. Amazing video. I'm gonna leave him a like. I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed, yo. But drop a like on dog video. Appreciate you for dropping that, my boy. But yeah, we're gonna keep stuff like this coming, or I'm gonna keep stuff like this coming. So hit that subscribe button, man. And without further ado, peace.